Today we'll be studying about two very famous American composers who were actually born in Russia but had to escape to the United States because their family was Jewish. And so for their own safety and to flee
On
from all
page
the oppression,
40 through
they came here.
432
They
in your
came over here
textbook,
as little
you'll
boys
read about
and then
Aaron
grew up
Copland.
and wrote
He was born
truly
in
American
1900
sounding music.
and died
The first
in
is Aaron Copland,
1990.
and we'll have a full PowerPoint presentation on him.
Copland was
And then
born
the second
in
is
Brooklyn
Irving
to
Berlin, and we'll
Russian
have a
Jewish
student
parents
presentation
who
on Irving
apparently
Berlin.
had come to the United States fleeing the Jewish oppression from the world wars. At age 15, he decided to become a composer. And when he was 21, he went to Paris, France to study composition. So he kind of started late deciding to become a composer and to work on composition. Copland believed that music had become too complex for the average audience member to understand and appreciate. So he simplified his compositions in order to reach a wider audience. This new 12-tone row music and atonal music and highly dissonant music, he didn't feel like that the audience enjoyed or appreciated, and he said it made no sense to ignore the audience and to continue writing as if the audience did not exist. And so he began to write music that he felt was more pleasing to the ear and would be more audience friendly. Interestingly, as Copland was growing up, no one ever took him to a concert, and he was never exposed to any music. No one talked to him about music or took him to any concerts at all, and he just kind of discovered it on his own one day and said, I kind of like this music stuff, and that's how he decided to compose. And one of his earliest teachers told him, don't pay attention to all this modern new music that has so much dissonance and atonality. You write your own thing, and that's what he did. Copland appreciated the inspiration he had gotten from his composition instructors, and so for 25 years he taught composition to young composers who attended summer music camps at Tanglewood. And this is a very prestigious music camp in the United States. And it lasts all summer, and only the best students and teachers are able to go there. There's a long audition process and screening process that you have to go through to be able to go there. But he wanted to be sure to pass on this love of music and composition to new young composers. He also used a lot of American folklore, American jazz, revival hymns, cowboy tunes, and folk tunes in his music, which made his music truly American. He did not draw from any of the European influences. He drew only from American influences. He was very nationalistic in wanting his music to sound very American. At the age of 50, he began his conducting career, and he took his orchestra all over the world. And so he was saying, age is no block for me. I'm going to keep moving forward and keep doing new things. And he started a new thing when he was 50 by beginning to conduct. And he lived a long life, all the way to the age of 90. And he died of Alzheimer's disease when he was 90 years old. Aaron Copland was also very patriotic, and he wrote a Lincoln portrait to show how much he thought of the United States and how much he loved the United States and how patriotic he felt. And you'll see a little bit of this written about this on page 431. In this Lincoln portrait, you'll hear famous quotes by our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. And this version that you're going to hear is actually narrated by Aaron Copland. So you need to start 8 minutes into the song. There's a lot of music before that time, which you're free to listen to. But then you'll hear Aaron Copland giving these famous quotes by Lincoln above the music that is being played underneath him. And it's just a great little song. I love it. So I hope you enjoy it. If you look on page 433 to 434, you'll see the listening guide for Aaron Copland's Appalachian Spring. This was originally a ballet, and it was based on the Shaker melody, Simple Gifts. And the Shakers were a religious group. And so the melody goes, 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where you ought to be. And when you find yourself in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. So it's a very beautiful melody, and you'll hear this incorporated into this song, Appalachian Spring. Again, we talked about how that Copland used American hymn tunes in his music, and this is one of those times that he did this. So hope you enjoy it, and actually there is ballet in the background of the video as well, so you can kind of get how it would have felt in its original form. The last piece we're going to listen to by Aaron Copland is Hoedown from Rodeo. And this is an example of Copland using cowboy songs in his music. Notice that the video that we're watching is performed by the Emory University Orchestra. And this is an example of how colleges are becoming the new patron of the arts. And so if you want to hear new music, often you will go to colleges and universities to hear new music, because the standard symphony orchestras in town are playing the more standard repertoire, but colleges and universities are promoting the new and upcoming composers and the arts of new musicians. Now let's move on to Irving Berlin. Irving Berlin was born in 1888 and died in 1989. So he lived to be 101 years old. Just amazing. So we're going to have a student report now on Irving Berlin. Here are some Berlin tidbits. So in case they're not covered by our student report, I just thought these were interesting. Irving's father was a Jewish cantor at the synagogue, and his family had to flee Russia when Irving was 5 years old because they were Jewish. When he was 14, he left home. They were poverty-stricken. He didn't even realize they were poverty-stricken, but he realized he needed to make a living and not be a burden to his family. So he made a living singing on the streets of New York City. By the time he was 23, he wrote his first big hit, the Alexander's Ragtime Band, and he became an instant celebrity. And so that's Come on in here, the Alexander Ragtime Band. So really, really famous piece. He one time asked a friend if he should study composition because he had never had any formal training. And his friend's response was, "No, that would ruin you." And so he never studied music formally. And yet he was really a fantastic composer. One of Irving Berlin's most famous pieces was White Christmas. It was made famous mostly by the movie named White Christmas and sung by Bing Crosby. And this song sold more than 50 million recordings. Of course, it's also been sung by many artists since then, but Bing Crosby is who helped make it famous. This is an example of music that creates nostalgia. It is supposed to kind of give you that warm, fuzzy holiday feeling and give you sense of home and family, and that's what this song is all about. And so I hope you enjoy watching this clip from the movie White Christmas of Bing Crosby singing White Christmas by Irving Berlin. Another one of Irving Berlin's really famous pieces is God Bless America, which I think is so interesting that he was not born in the United States. He was brought to the United States when he was 5 by his parents fleeing persecution, and yet he wrote this one of the most famous patriotic songs in the United States, God Bless America. So this type of music is intended to create a feeling of patriotism and love for your country, and he claimed America as his country and his homeland, and he loved America, and he was singing and wanting to portray the message of God Bless America. One of the most touching moments that I remember hearing God Bless America was on the video that you're about to see. So you need to start about 3 minutes and 10 seconds into the video. But this is after the 9/11 attack on the United States. And you've had these planes crashing into the World Trade Center. And Congress has gotten together and they are mourning this horrible situation and this horrible thing that has happened. And they are addressing the country. And spontaneously, at the end of the speech, they start singing God Bless America. And it just brings me chills. So I hope you enjoy it.
My pastor says that Irving Berlin actually created most of the music for our holidays, since he wrote White Christmas for the Christmas time and Easter Parade for Easter, and then God Bless America, which we hear during the 4th of July. And so he wrote lots of music that we enjoy, becomes part of our holiday season and traditions, even still today. We're going to move on now to music that has been written since 1945. So we'll be getting into some jazz music, into some rock and roll music, a little bit still of the classical styles of music that was written after 1945. And so we will see you next time.